Okay, it's just my third attempt at this morning. Had my session yesterday, and with with my doctor, the sport doctor. First two were emergency because they, whatever. The other one had to back out because he wasn't actually specialized in uh, narcissistic personality disorder victim recovery. The doctor I have now is, and so either way, and the first thing I told her, one of the first things I told her is like, man, I need validation because I hear I am questioning myself again. Am I the narcissist because? And I told her about the video logs. And she said, that's not, there's a thing that narcissists do. I don't remember what it is. It's basically after the relationship's over, they go on some sort of smear campaign. And she goes, the first element of a smear campaign is what they're saying is not true. Okay. And like in my case, when I was claiming, hey, Tara's a narcissist because she did this, this, and this. Okay. And it's just a naked assertion. Of course, her monkeys, her believers, the people that are over there, they believe it hook, line, and sinker because he has them manipulated. And there's no way that someone can wake up from their own manipulation. They can't. They just. I've been there. I know for an absolute fact you can't do it. So I mean, there's no help for that. But where a smear campaign is falsities, you're making stuff up that doesn't exist. Like oh, he was always abusive to me. I've got those text messages I put together, and one of them she goes, I can just feel that you hated me. You've hated me for years, and here's text message after text message after text message where there's no hate whatsoever. I mean, I'm showing her as much love as I can. I'm trying to work with her because she got all these sensitive feelings, all this stuff going on. So, it's a total lie on her part. So either way around, the narcissistic rage smear campaign requires an element of not being true, where I'm showing you things that are true. And then, of course, she plays the gaslighting stuff. It's kind of like, oh, you don't know the whole story. Well, the whole raw video is posted there without any commentary. You can watch the whole dang thing if you want to. One of them is almost 2 hours long. So that's the whole story. And you can sit and watch our conversations too. This is another thing my doctor pointed out. She said that when we first walked out the door, you could tell Terry was mad, throwing things around and, doing this stuff. Where I was trying to be calm, collected, talk to her in a respectful manner, et cetera. And she goes, you can immediately see she starts punching buttons. And she's right. I mean, this is why I'm in counseling, because my counselor can sit down and watch this stuff and see it. Now, of course, she says the conversation immediately goes sociopathic because of honesty, and then need fulfillment, which is kind of sociopathy, and a sociopath and narcissistic. They both overlap in that, and that's part of the overlap is part of what all that is. So either way around, that was good. That was more validation that I'm not the crazy one. She said that she goes, it's common to have codependency traits of narcissism, and she goes, those will show up. And in saying that, got some reflection going on with that. And so, and this is a thing a narcissist will never do. And that's to my friends, to people around me, people who knew me, people who have blocked me on Facebook even. You'll probably never see this. I would like to say I'm sorry for anything that I've done that was wrong. I mean, I was being manipulated and saying and doing things that was outside my nature and character. I'm going to give you an example of my light going out, apparently. I'm going to give you an example. My neighbor invited us over for a crawfish boil. Of course, Tara didn't show up, of course. And well, yeah. That's really when things started really going south, when I started getting along with the neighbors real well. Either way. So they invited us over. We went over, we hung out. Colton and Stephanie stopped by for a while, and then they split. But I hung out there until the sunset. It started raining, man. I was enjoying myself, which is one of the rare things that I do occasionally. And that was, you know, I said earlier in one of my videos that I hadn't been out of the house since 2018, and that's wrong. I was kind of out of the house. I wouldn't, but the deal is I could just step over the little property line, and so I wasn't really out of the house. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so the next day, because I noticed his trash was full, I was like, hey man, I got this big dumpster over here, and it looks like you still got a lot of trash to deal with. You know, come over and drop it in, and no big deal. You know, whatever. Well, when he come over, we were chatting or something, and I was like, man, I said, you did intend to actually invite me, you know, for me to actually show up, right? And he goes, well, yeah. And he got a weird look on his face. And it wasn't till I've been going through this right now, and I called him last night and told him, I said, hey man, I'm sorry to bother you late. I'd like to apologize for that stupid question. He goes, yeah. He says, I wasn't sure what to make of that. And I said, I wasn't either. And I said, but I realized what is going on is the manipulation I was going through is that basically I was being convinced that, oh, people only invite you because, you know, they have to be nice. They don't actually want you to show up, kind of bullshit. And he's like, oh, that makes some sense. And I was like, yeah. I said, when's the next crawfish boil? And we're doing all joking from then, you know. So that's an example of it. And I don't know what I may have done or said to any and or all of you because of this manipulation, because you come out of this being so confused and muddied about some things. You know, my interactions with different people they're confusingly and they're mudding, you know. And I know when we had a friend of ours pass away on the property, he got killed in a car wreck. Now, it's the way the law works. I'm supposed to make sure of everything that goes in and out of it because the person died, blah, 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 whatever, it doesn't matter. And either way around, I mean, Tara ran right over there and she's like, well, I want this and I want this and I want, and started this but just anything and everything. It's like, really? I mean, but you know, either way, I know that in that entire situation, I kind of forced myself to the funeral at one point. And that was wrong, but I was desperate too, because all right. When Sandy showed up, it was like we had never, it was just like the last 18 or 19 years or however long it's been apart. It's like we were never apart. We're just right back in the groove, being stupid, silly, laughing, doing everything. And so it was such a refreshing breeze to have this person here I could interact with and things. And so, and then she get killed in a car wreck like that. And I was devastated. I'm still kind of devastated over that. It just, because it was just, you know, with everything going on, it's just not the greatest place to be. But either way, so I would like to apologize for that to Susie and wow, I can't remember Susie's name. Either I apologize about that, guys. That was just that was a bad point, and I'm still going through bad point in my life with what Tara's done to me. And you know, I noticed you guys are not on my friends list anymore. And well, I don't know what to tell you. If you want to buy that story that she's over there slinging, that's your business. Nothing I can do about it. But I do apologize to you for that, and everyone else too. I don't know what I may have done, because like I say, it's all a little confusing. It's muddy. It's like, that's why I'm doing some of these video blogs. That's why they want me doing them. It's because as I work through telling the story, I can begin to realize what I did, what I said, things like that, how things really worked, instead of being gaslighted into thinking they work differently. So either way, the one thing you know, a true narcissist never do is apologize and mean it. And I'm telling you right now, I'm sorry. I wish I could undo quite a bit of my life at this point. But I'm working through it at least. So either way, that's my apologies to everyone. May have offended, done things to, said things to. God, I just remember like 2 or 3 other people I've said weird things to. I mean, yeah, either way,